Hey y'all, welcome to the Honesty Circle, the safe space to discuss growing in adulthood, mental health, faith, and all the things in between. It's your host, Sierra Elise, and I hope you're taking care of not only your mental and spiritual, but your emotional and physical health so you can be your best self this week. Hi everyone, welcome back to an episode of the Honesty Circle. It's your girl Sierra Elise, and I have a lovely special guest with me today. Her name is Jasmine Marshall. Call her Jazz. So I'm gonna have her introduce herself, kind of talking about who she is, what she does, and then what makes Jasmine Jasmine.
Cool. First off, thank you for having me. Very
Thanks for being
excited to be
here.
on the Honesty Circle finally. But my name is Jasmine. 24 years old, about to be 25, May 4th. I'm a Taurus. Very excited. But I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. Currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been here for like 2.5 years. We went to school together at UNC Chapel Hill, so that's how we met. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So talk about what makes you you. What pillars do you think like make you the person that you are? Or
Pillars.
not pillars, but like things that you like that you like to do.
Things I like to do. I am an artist outside of work. I didn't mention this, but I'm a consultant for work. So that's what I've been doing since I graduated from college. And I also did a couple internships during college doing consulting. But outside of that, I'm an artist. That's probably my biggest thing about myself or biggest like passion. Family is also really big for me. I have two older brothers, very close with my parents as well.
Love the Marshalls.
Yes. Overall, just like trying different things. I consider myself to be like a foodie.
Oh, for sure. Not you. You
I
are
am
a
foodie.
foodie.
Yeah, I am foodie. Yeah, I like to cook and like also just eat out. Love music as well.
Yeah. Love, love, love. All right, y'all. We're going to hop into the segment Inner or Outer Circle. And so we are going to, this on this. Run it back. So this or that, inner outer circle is basically this or that. And so what you like in your inner circle, what you don't like, outer circle. So first things first, walking or running?
Definitely walking. Try to get into running. I went to like the Mad Mouse Run Club. We've been together,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I did that for like a couple months, more so for the social aspects. But yeah, definitely walking.
Okay, okay. Would you rather be hot or cold?
I'd rather be hot or just like have the sun on me. Like I
Okay.
always have to sit in like this little spot in my apartment with the sun.
Yeah.
So I would say that.
Love, love, love. Okay, so if you're going on vacation to like an island or whatever, do you want all inclusive or do you want an Airbnb to be able to be out?
Absolutely all inclusive. 100%. Not trying to cook on vacation, not trying to
Yeah.
deal with any of that. Definitely all inclusive.
Love, love. Basketball or football?
I would say football. Come from a football family.
Yeah.
My brothers play football. My dad play football. I actually don't watch too
I know
much,
that's why I said that.
which surprises people. People always expect me. And like when I say I go to UNC, they're like, "Oh, the basketball games." So yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna
Barely.
hold you. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, football.
Love, love. Okay, and then what color is in your inner circle?
Purple, of course.
Yeah, love. All right. Thanks for that segment. We're gonna hop into the content of this episode. So, today we'll be talking basically about figuring out and discovering your passion areas, your hobbies, and kind of how do you get to that space in life to then be able to do both, like where you're having your job and have like who you are to run your life, but then also you have other pillars to you because we know that we're not just what we do. Like you're not just a consultant. There's other parts of to you. And I think that's a part of adulthood is growing into that other parts of you that are not just, I do this for my job.
Yeah.
So my first thing would be kind of thinking about where you are right now. Like when you're thinking of this transitional time in your life, going from consulting, doing full time to going to school and doing all that, kind of talk about that some more of how you're feeling about this transition time in your life right now.
I'm very excited. I feel like last year was definitely like a year of transformation, growth for me, a very reflective year in therapy, as you know. And kind of made the decision to decide to go back to school. So we'll be starting my MBA in the fall. Um, and yeah, a lot of that stemmed from just me not really loving my job. I feel like it's been a good first job, and I'm glad I did this for my first job out of undergrad, but definitely want to explore other things. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm very excited,
Yeah.
nervous, of course. It'll
Yeah.
be my first time living outside of North Carolina, being a little further from my family. So we'll see, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be good.
And then how would you say, like, how are you trying to incorporate art in that too? Because I know that's kind of something that you're thinking of. So how are you trying to incorporate like that level of like your passion into kind of this next season of your life more too?
So when I first started like preparing to apply for my MBA, I didn't really know what I wanted to like do post MBA or like it was just more so I wanted a break from my job. Like I was just over it.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, I kind of decided to write my application about art, which I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't know that.
yeah, so like I wrote my basically in terms of my like short term and long term goals, like wanting to work at the intersection of business and art is what I kind of wrote about. Spoke about being an artist and like how that came about, and then like the main problem I guess I want to help resolve is just the underrepresentation of Black artists. So yeah, that's what I wrote about. Kind of went out on a limb, but decided to just I don't know, try to be more authentic with it this time around. I feel like a lot of times when I apply for things, I just kind of say like what I know will sound good and like what I know will resonate with the interview or whatever. But wanted to be like more authentic and worked out. It
That
did.
is truly so beautiful. I think that says a lot to like this time of life and like you said like it's been a reflective year and being able to like show up in this time that it's like applying to schools is not easy and like even into like a job or anything like that like you want to put your best foot or like the most like put together version
Mm-hmm.
and putting a facade up a lot oftentimes of like this is what I do and this is how I am and this is how I think when it's like no you're being very authentic to yourself and for the great things that have come of that like
It's definitely been nerve wracking. I will say, like,
yeah.
even now, like, I just had my welcome weekend. I'm going to Yale School of Management, but I just had my welcome weekend, and like, most people, as you would expect, kind of want to go into like consulting, banking,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I still sometimes feel like a little uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
saying like what I want to do, and it might change. Like, you never know. I'm like very open to seeing where things
Mm-hmm.
go. But I still get like a little self conscious about it, I would say,
Yeah.
but trying to be more like confident with
But
it.
you're taking the steps. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
takes time to develop that. So I love that. Jasmine. Okay, so let's talk back about let's like move think back about how we got to this point. So let's kind of talk about that transitional time. I know we met in college.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of talk about like how like art has come about for you in that time, from like in college to where you are now, and then we'll go kind of go from there.
I would say I've always enjoyed like creative things. I was actually just catching up with like my childhood best friend and we were talking about my art. She was like, "You've always been like very creative, but it's just like you've kind of taken it to a new level." So I think like even in school, like elementary school, starting then, like whenever we had class projects, I had to do like posters and stuff like that. I always really enjoyed that. But then also my mom's artistic, and my granddad is artistic as well. So like she always had paint in the house and would like make t-shirts for us and like I remember one Thanksgiving before COVID, we did like a family sip and paint.
Mm,
Um, and I was out there for like hours after everybody was done, just going. And that was like the first time I labeled art as like a hobby. Like I remember I posted a picture on Instagram was like new hobby.
yeah.
And like in hindsight, that painting wasn't that great, but still, it was kind of like the start of
Start,
me
yeah. Was the
recognizing.
butterfly one?
No, it was one of like a sunset with me sitting on a bench. I actually archived that picture,
Okay.
but
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Um, yeah, so that's when it started. But I think even before that, like other hobbies, I always like trying things, but I never really felt like I had a dedicated hobby.
Yeah.
Like I was part of this career prep program in college, and I remember our coach was like, one of our assignments was like, "What are your hobbies?" And like I really had nothing.
Yeah.
And that's when I really realized like, dang, I need to like find things outside of just like academics because I was always very focused on school and like extracurriculars, grades, but I didn't really do too much outside of that.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I just tried to devote more time and like be more consistent. And of course, like during COVID lockdown, we had a ton of free time. So we just had a bunch of paint supplies, and that's when I really just started like locking in with it and
Yeah.
like just pumping things out. So
Yeah. You've been going
um,
since, girl. You've been going since. So kind of going from there in college, now you're let's move forward to you've been doing art for a while, you're still been doing school, and then you go into we graduate and go from there. So talk about that transition from undergrad to having your first job. Like how was that for you?
definitely tough.
Yeah.
Definitely tough for sure. I think just transitioning to adulthood in general is tough. Like being away from your friends, just being in a new stage of life, and like just the reality of like life just like kind of hitting you. Like
Yes.
was a lot. But then also, as you know, like my job was very demanding. Like thankfully, it has kind of slowed down a bit for me in terms of just like the workload and like the hours. Probably just because I've also gotten like a little better at my job with time and like more efficient. But early on, like that first year, it was pretty tough, and I feel like I had reached a like low state mentally.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a little unfamiliar for me. Um, and it was weird because it was like with work, things that wouldn't typically like stress me out or overwhelm me, like really not even that complicated tasks where it's just like stressing me out like every day. And I realized like, okay, this isn't like
Sustainable.
sustainable, like this isn't
Yeah.
normal, whatever. I remember my older brother Keith actually like encouraged me to start going to therapy. Um, and like talking to my therapist has helped a lot. And she kind of made the point of like, you know, this is your first job. Like it's okay if you don't have everything figured out. Like you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself for one, but then also like if you can't find your passion or like fulfill yourself through work, then you just need to make sure you devote time outside of work to that.
Mm-hmm.
So like at first, a lot of times, by the time we got to the weekend, I just wanted to like chill on the weekend, like just exhausted. But I started to like try to be more disciplined with like pushing past that initial barrier of like, oh, I just want to sit on the couch and like scroll on TikTok
Yeah.
and just like making myself paint or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then like once I get into it, I always love it. But it's kind of like similar to working out, like you don't want to do it initially, but then once you actually get into it and afterwards, you feel great.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on that discipline aspect. I would say I'm like not as consistent as I want to be, but I've been trying to get better about it. But
Yeah.
definitely think again, like I don't know, I don't want my life long term to like revolve around work.
Right.
So again, trying to figure out how to kind of merge my creative interests with my professional skills. Like I don't necessarily think I want to be a full time artist
Right.
necessarily, at least not right now. I feel like I'm like a businesswoman at heart, but
Yeah.
still want to have a job that allows me to be like creative and it's like something I'm still passionate about. So working in the arts sector, potentially in like a marketing role or something like that
Yeah.
would be cool, I think.
Oh, I love that. So outside of art, what are some other new things that you tried as you were trying to like explore? Like let's talk through all the things that you do. So you do feel
Yes.
like you do a lot, not a lot, but like fun things.
I do like to try things. So one big thing is aerial silks, which is like a circus apparatus. Um, and the way I got into that, actually, there's this girl I work with, Terry, shout out to her, who goes, and she just always like would tell everyone about it just because she loves it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And she invited me one day. I went. I remember I sent y'all a video. I was having
Yeah,
the time
you
of my life,
did. Yeah.
and like ever since then, I just started going consistently. I haven't been going as consistently lately, just because it's like it's a pretty intense workout to be honest, but it's a lot of fun. And I used to cheer, and I used to always want to get into like pole dancing. Y'all know, I
Yeah.
feel like it's a good like balance between like gymnastics and like the spinning and all of the twirling and
And
everything.
like strength too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a really good workout. So that's one thing. I've also gotten into Pilates just as a way to stay active. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't really enjoy going to the gym.
Girl,
And
you're
like
preaching to the talking to the choir because you know I hate going to the
yeah,
gym.
and like having to think of workouts is just a lot of work. And
Yeah.
Pilates is fun. It's not too crazy. I go to Club Pilates.
Mm,
Solid core I would not recommend. That's a whole nother level, but
okay.
Club Pilates is good. Um, Outside of that, I feel like piano. That's like something I've kind of dabbled in like since I was young because we had a keyboard. Marcus took lessons like for a year or so
Yeah.
whenever we were young. Um, and I've also like dabbled a tiny bit with guitar. I do. That's definitely on my bucket list. I actually want to like learn for real how to play the electric guitar,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like that's something that I would like want to take lessons for.
Yeah. What outside of art, what has been like the favorite hobby that you've like tried and like done?
Definitely aerial.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like you should try. You should come with me one day.
I actually, you know, I would
You
because
would love
the
it.
same
You would
way,
love
like
it.
obviously, like I don't know if I ever said this on podcast, but like I was a gymnast, I was a cheerleader, which is why I think I also like Pilates because it makes me feel like the workouts that I did as a gymnast.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the times, but certain things where it's like you're not. I wasn't lifting weights, but I was like super strong because I was using my own
Mm-hmm.
body to like do it, and I think that's what I like about like Pilates and yoga. But that's why I think I would like that because it's like similar of like just twirl and
Yeah,
flip
it's
and
so
like give
fun.
yourself up. Like I would love that. I also want to do an open gym. I think that's another thing that's on my
Like tumbling.
like yeah because not that I think I can still do it, but I think I can still do it.
You
Like if
definitely
I was
could.
if I were in the gym,
You definitely could.
like as soon if I were to go to a gym with a mat, I think I would throw a back handspring tuck like right now.
You definitely could.
Um, but I just would never do it in the grass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I'm just
sometimes
not
do
ready.
that. Sometimes I regret it, but every now and then, just to see if I can still do a backflip, I'll like, let me try to do a tuck real quick.
Oh, see, I never really had a tuck for real. I was always like the running tumbling. I had a back handspring, but I can do a running back handspring back like tuck, but I can't do a just standing tuck.
The running used to scare me more.
Really? Girl,
Yes,
I
I
used
used to
to.
do it, but it used to like I preferred standing tumbling.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I have this one video. Um, was that my junior year? I don't know what year it was, but it's like me tumbling in the gym, and I was just
Hmm.
like, doop, 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 and I just like
On the
love doing
basketball
that.
court.
Hmm.
Oh, see, no,
Yeah.
I would.
Well, because
Mm-mm.
I love doing it at games, like, because people would hype you up more. Like football, like not as much, but basketball, when between them little timeouts, like they're gassing you up, so like you cannot mess up.
That's why I feel like we're different because that fuels you. That made me want to be like, nah, I'm gonna sit down.
Well, it just like I think that's why I like the running because I just like my adrenaline went and
That's
just
yeah,
like do
that's
do do
fair.
do.
That's
Like I
fair.
didn't
Yeah,
even think about it, but
yeah.
yeah, I love that. So how did you like learn to make time for these interests? Like, how have you tried to like incorporate it in through your daily routine, like or like your weekly, monthly, whatever routine? Like, how have you kind of created time for that?
So Pilates I usually do on Friday because when I travel for work, which is not every project as you know, but like it's typically Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do Pilates like Friday afternoon, and typically we'll do aerial Saturday
Mm-hmm.
morning. So that's pretty much. I don't really work out when I travel too much.
Yeah.
But then art is just kind of sporadically on the weekends. And then I've had some projects where I was work from home that were like a little more chill, and I would like paint during the week as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been like I said, I've gotten like pretty lucky, I guess, with some of my like more recent projects not being like too crazy.
Yeah. I love that. Um, and then so I want to kind of talk back about art. I think we kind of talked about it a lot, but I feel like I like the way I watched you like when we did that little painting and I like
Yeah.
watched you like do it and like eat it up on the smallest canvas. Like we just did this little baby canvas and she ate it up. I'm like, yo, like this girl's a real artist. So like what do you think your favorite part of art is? It is like expressing yourself? Is it the end result? Is it the process? Like kind of what let's talk about that.
I feel like it's both. Like it's the process. The process can be a little frustrating at times just because I feel like painting for me really teaches me like patience because it always looks a little crazy
Mm,
at first. Then it's like if I keep at it and just like keep adding to it, eventually it comes together.
yeah.
But it might be like a few hours into a painting before it starts to look good, like depending on what it is. So definitely helps me to trust the process. But I also feel like painting is one of those things where I just like get into a flow of it,
Mm-hmm.
and like can paint for hours. Like I'll skip meals, like, and the time just goes by very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, so that's part of it. But then also the end result, like thinking I'm gonna, I don't know, have an idea of what I want to paint and then bring it to life is like very rewarding as well.
Where would you say your like ideas come from?
I would say I like to do a lot of nature related
Mm-hmm.
paintings. Um, I've done some portraits as well. I've had like a couple of dreams that have like inspired my paintings as
Yeah.
well.
That one where you're sitting like in your
Or I'm
sleep.
dreaming.
Was that
Yeah.
really a dream? No.
That wasn't like an actual dream. I mean, I'm dreaming the painting. But
Yeah.
like the tiger that I did, um,
That tiger was fly.
thank you.
Yeah.
I had a dream of that, like a tiger with a butterfly. I was like, oh, I have to paint this.
Yeah.
Um, that's really only happened to me like once in like that clear of a way. But I don't know. I feel like the ideas sometimes just come to me. Um, I don't
Oh,
know.
I love that. What has been your favorite piece that you've done so far?
I would say between the Lucky Day painting I did, which is in my living room, I love that one.
Yeah.
And probably the dream painting I did, just because it was my first and only like self portrait.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of pieces to that.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay. And then so you had an art show. You did, did an art show. Talk to me about that process. Like, how did you feel like getting into it? Like, talk to me that whole process of like the leading up to then doing it and being at it.
it was a lot of fun. I actually, so initially for business school, I was planning to apply round one, which was like September or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to like postpone until January so that I could like devote time to art. I also applied for this other competition, which did not end up getting selected for,
It's
but
okay.
it's fine, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, so I had more time, I guess, to devote to art leading up to it and to like think about what I wanted to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did like take a little break from the grad school stuff. Um, But yeah, leading up to it, luckily we also had, it was like the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it wasn't working. And I was at home with my parents in Raleigh. So I had a lot of time to like make business cards. Shout out to Jada. She made my design,
Oh,
which
love
was
Jada.
fire. And yeah, I was a little nervous, honestly. Like I started looking at like TikToks from the other shows, and I felt like my art was like very different. Like of course, with it being Black Girl Art Show, a lot of people's subjects were like Black women and stuff like that. In mine's a lot of like animals and things. So I was like, dang, like I need to paint something new. Like I need to have something better, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But ended up being good. Like I made some sales,
Yeah.
sold some prints. And yeah, I definitely want to do another one.
Yeah. How'd you feel after? Like what was that feeling after? Like relief? Was it like proud of yourself? Like what was that feeling after?
I was definitely proud of myself, and like a lot of y'all, Sierra showed up.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. A lot of people came to see me, which was really nice as well. And where my booth was situated was like right by the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So the lady like was like, "Oh, we want to do an artist spotlight. Like, let's have you come speak and like talk about yourself and like give away one of your paintings." So that was really cool as well.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you. I just love jazz. Like, it's inspiring to like the evolution of. I mean, all of our friends inspire me in different ways, but like you definitely inspired the like creative side. Like when we were doing that painting, I was like, I can't.
No, you
No.
ate though. You ate.
But I was trying so hard because I was like, okay, like you have the talent to do a little bit more. And I actually thought about that after. I was like, I think I want to like not paint for real, but just
You
like try to
should.
do like things that I would like to hang up in my house. You know,
You
like
should. It's
so.
a good like just
It's like
relaxing. Like
relaxing,
yeah.
yeah. And I was like vibing
Just turn
that
on
whole
some
time.
music.
Mm-hmm.
Just vibe.
Yeah, so I think you've inspired me to do a little bit more on that.
Love that.
So,
Love that.
so that's kind of at the end of the episode. But you know, we always end with these 2 cents. So, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to like find their passions outside of work and definitely are struggling to either find something or struggling to find the time?
I would say just be open to trying new things. Like I would have never thought I would be doing like a circus art.
I'm sorry.
It's not crazy to say circus, but like that's what it is.
But like you know that like we used to like
Yes,
the
I know.
clowns. That's what
I
makes this
know.
funny because like okay, so y'all don't know this. So we call ourselves like we've always said like just clown energy, like clowns.
Turn on that clown
like,
music song. Whenever somebody does something foolish,
we're putting on that circuit. literally. So like that's what I'm saying. Like for you to do the circus, you're just it's so over.
yeah.
Anyways, continue on. Sorry.
Yeah, be open to trying new things, and I would say like things that come naturally to you, lean into those things and explore like I don't know where you could take it.
Yeah, love that advice. Y'all can take her advice or not. That is just her 2 cents. Thank you so much for being on this week's episode. I really appreciate it. And I definitely take away a lot with this of like kind of finding that time for things that are important. But yeah, if y'all like anything that you heard, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We finally hit 200 subscribers. Yes. But we're on the road to 300. So that was what I've been saying. So although we hit our first step, we need to continue on the steps to 300 and then we'll go from there. But anyways, make sure you also follow us on Instagram at The Honest Circle with an underscore at the end to stay updated on Circle News. Thanks again so much for listening and go conquer your week. Bye y'all.